touch me. No, you don't touch me.
When I tell you to take your hand out,
I've done nothing. Nope.
relax.
You go away.
A man filming from his own driveway sparks a confrontation with a cop, a drawn gun intimidation, and a constitutional crisis over a camera.
You know I don't have a weapon on me.
I don't know that.
You do that. I'm completely clear. Wrong. You have your gun out because you're a police officer. You're trying to intimidate me, and this is going all over YouTube.
What happens when a simple recording becomes a threat to police power? Is this about the law or about control? It started like any other summer afternoon in Rohnert Park, California, but what happened next would raise questions about power fear and the limits of the badge. Don McComas was in his own driveway minding his business, hooking up a boat trailer when he noticed something off. A police cruiser crawling slowly past. The officer inside Dave Rodriguez wasn't answering a call or investigating a crime. He was watching, circling. So Don did what any citizen with nothing to hide might do. He pulled out his phone and hit record. That decision would lead to a drawn gun, a constitutional crisis, and a court case that still sparks outrage. Why would a cop pull a gun on a man just for filming on his own property? And if that kind of intimidation can happen here, what does it say about the rights we think we still have?
He's now circled the neighborhood. Now he's headed back towards me. He's been very slow in all of his driving. Clearly didn't like that I was pointing my camera to videotape him, but he came around the area very slow. He's on and off his microphone right now. He's now calling in my license plate number of my excursion. He thinks he's being funny now.
Alright, go take your hand out of your pocket, okay?
No, sir, I haven't done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing. No.
Hey, seriously.
Put your gun down, really?
The officer steps out. His first words aren't a greeting, they're a command. He tells Don to take his hand out of his pocket. Don, standing in his own driveway, doesn't move. No crime, no threat, just a man holding a phone. But Officer Rodriguez doesn't de-escalate. Instead, he draws his firearm. In broad daylight in front of a private home, he aims deadly force at a man doing nothing more than recording with a phone in one hand and the other in his pocket. Under the law, a police officer can only issue such commands, especially with that level of force, if they have what's called reasonable suspicion, not just a feeling, not just a hunch, a specific articulable reason to believe that a crime may be occurring. That standard wasn't met here. In fact, courts have ruled time and again that simply asking someone to remove their hands from their pockets is fine, but ordering it backed by the threat of force without reasonable suspicion, that's where constitutional protections kick in. And when a gun comes into play, the bar gets even higher. So what gave Officer Rodriguez the right to pull a gun? Was it the camera? The silence? Or was it the power he thought he held over someone who dared to record him? Would you feel safe knowing your driveway could become a danger zone over a phone and a question of control?
Start me another one.
This one's really got a gun on me. No. You don't touch me. You don't touch me.
I'm at that address. Start me another unit.
You don't touch me.
Hey, man.
No, you don't touch me.
When I tell you to take your hand out,
I've done nothing.
okay?
Nope.
You need to relax.
You go away.
Okay? I don't go away. I stay where I am. You can go in your house if you want, or you can stay out here. But you don't keep your hand in your pocket, okay?
My hand can be in my pocket. There's nothing in there. I've done nothing. What have I done?
I'm telling you.
Answer me. What have I done? Why'd you get out of your vehicle?
You're taking a picture of me. I'm taking a picture.
Officer Rodriguez later says he only approached because Don was taking pictures of him. But let's be clear. Recording a public servant in public, especially from your own private property, is not a crime. In fact, it's a right firmly protected by the First Amendment. Federal courts, including the Ninth Circuit that covers California, have long held that citizens have the right to film police in public. And when that filming happens from your own front yard, that right becomes even stronger. No law was broken here. No suspicion was justified. So why did this officer act like the camera was a weapon, and if a phone in a driveway is enough to trigger armed confrontation? What does that say about the power we've given to those sworn to serve? How many more phones will be seen as threats before the Constitution is respected again?
Take a picture and leave.
Okay, I don't have to leave.
Neither do I.
So, I told you to take your hand out of your pocket. I just want to make sure you don't have a weapon.
You know I don't have a weapon on me.
I don't know that.
You do that. I'm completely clear. Wrong. Okay. You have your gun out because you're a police officer. You're trying to intimidate me, and this is going all over YouTube.
Put it on.
This is horrible. Trust me, I will. Okay. You guys have done enough to my family.
Okay. I don't even know who you are.
That's why you just happen to slowly approach my house, stop in front of my house, and then keep going. So that was just random. That was just random?
Yep.
So you stopped. Okay. You didn't stop at anyone's house. You didn't stop at anybody's house but mine.
What's wrong with you?
Your station is corrupt.
Oh, okay. Are you some kind of a constitutionalist?
No, sir.
Crazy guy or something like that? Is that your?
Is that what you're going after? Is that where you're going? Are you throwing claims around?
I'm asking you.
Are you throwing these around?
What's that?
Are you throwing labels around?
Why are you doing this?
Why are you sitting here with your gun out at me? This is why I'm doing this, to protect myself from you.
Okay. All right. Well, you just stay right in front of me, and then we'll be all fine. Okay?
Am I being detained? Have I been accused? Are you accusing me of a crime? Are you suspecting me of a crime?
If I did, I would arrest you. Okay? So, go ahead and have a nice day. Put it on YouTube. I don't really care.
I will, sir.
Okay.
Getting my stuff from my car.
Okay.
After brandishing his gun, giving vague commands, and threatening arrest all without cause, Officer Rodriguez simply gets back in his cruiser and drives away. No apology, no explanation, just a silent retreat from the very situation he escalated. But Don McComas didn't let the encounter end there. He filed a federal civil rights lawsuit arguing that his First and Fourth Amendment rights had been violated. The court agreed Rodriguez was denied qualified immunity, and the case was headed for trial. Before it got there, the department quietly settled, and Officer Rodriguez retired during the legal process. The settlement amount never disclosed. It's telling that the justice Don received came not from the officer's accountability, but from his own persistence. And that's the problem when the system fails. In real time, it leaves ordinary citizens to fight back alone. What does it say about policing in America when it takes a lawsuit just to defend your own driveway? And how many more officers are out there with a badge in one hand and a grudge in the other?
Both y'all walk over to my vehicle right now.
For what reason?
Right now, because I'm telling you to. Do not play with me, because I'm telling you to.
Name and badge number.
Walk to the car.
Name and badge number.
Walk to the car until I figure out what you're doing.
I just told you what I'm doing.
Put your hands on the vehicle, both of them. Put your phone down, sir.
No, I'm videotaping
You can
this.
record me.
I have every right
care.
to record you.
2015, Caleb White, a First and Second Amendment advocate, arrived in Bald Knob, Arkansas. His goal to peacefully film outside the police department and openly carry his firearm is allowed by state law. Just minutes into his audit, Officer Chester Wright rolled up, and what started as a lawful act quickly turned into an unjustified detention. Officer Wright claimed White's behavior, carrying a gun and filming, was suspicious. But suspicion alone isn't enough. As the Supreme Court ruled in Terry v. Ohio, officers must point to clear, specific facts suggesting criminal activity before detaining someone. Vague hunches and lawful behavior don't cut it. Filming a government building and exercising open carry rights are not crimes. Yet White was detained on camera without evidence of wrongdoing, without reasonable suspicion, and without any clear crime being cited. This raises a troubling question. When officers treat lawful rights as criminal threats, where does freedom end and fear begin? And how many more legal detentions are based on nothing more than discomfort with dissent?
What law are you? You corrupt little podunk town cops think you run the place, and you don't.
Do you think just because you come up here and cite a couple of laws and carry your firearm, that you're going to be on the internet and be famous?
I don't want to be famous. I don't give a shit.
Then what are you doing then?
I'm writing a story. I am doing a story on you. I was getting B-roll.
Who you work for?
It's none of your business.
No, I bet. $27.
Any integrity, you would honor your oath to the Constitution, which you and I have both taken multiple times. This dude doesn't realize I'm a commissioned officer in the state of Arkansas. So again, what are we being detained for?
You're being detained
For?
trying to figure out what you're doing here.
No, you have to have reasonable suspicion of a crime. Do they send you to the academy, or they just give any badge
Give
around here?
Anybody a badge around here.
Seems like
That's
it.
exactly where it works.
Seems like it.
Snatched Caleb White's phone not because of any real threat, but because a man filming while carrying a legal firearm seemed to bother him. When that doesn't work, he shifts tactics, declaring that White cannot legally carry a gun on city property. But here's the thing that's not true. Arkansas is an open carry state, and unless there's a specific law or posted rule banning firearms and a government building a public sidewalk outside a police station doesn't become off limits just because an officer says so. In United States versus Black, the courts made it clear if a state allows open carry, then doing so without more isn't suspicious and doesn't justify detention. Sure, cities can place limits on their property, but only if it's clearly posted or backed by local ordinances. Police stations might be considered sensitive locations like schools or courthouses, but there needs to be an actual policy in place, not just an officer's assumption. At this point, no law was cited, no sign was pointed to. Jackson just treated White as a criminal for exercising a constitutional right. And that's the deeper issue when officers act first and justify later they cross a line. Not because they're enforcing the law, but because they're enforcing their feelings about who should be allowed to exercise those rights. Is open carry controversial? Yes. But rights don't depend on how comfortable an officer feels about them. If they did, they wouldn't be rights at all.
And what law states that? If I'm not being detained, I will be free to leave.
Right now, at this time, you're not free to leave.
So I'm being detained.
You're being under investigation.
Of what crime? No, it's not. Hold on a minute. If you don't have reasonable suspicion of a crime, I'm free to go. It'll be all right. This is deprivation of rights under the color of law, so. Well, what am I being detained for? What?
Yeah.
Huh? I'm a commissioned officer. It's my vehicle, and I'm a commissioned officer in the state of Arkansas. No, he did not. He didn't say a word. It's on video. Yes.
Are you a police officer?
I'm a commissioned officer in the state of Arkansas, yes.
You are. Can I see your identification?
No,
Why?
because I do not have to legally provide you identification.
Okay. You guys are not allowed on city property or on the police department's property, so you guys need to leave.
As the encounter winds down, one of the officers turns to Kaylee and subscribe to Citizens vs. Systems for more stories where truth meets resistance.